In Creo Parametric 11.0, the user interface for the remove body command is improved by giving users the choice of selecting the bodies to remove or the bodies to keep. Let's take a look at an example. Here I have a part open. If you take a look at the design items folder, I have a lot of bodies in this part. And for my new work, I only need a few of these bodies. Let's go to the body overflow menu. Here is the remove body command. And you can see that we now have the ability to choose either the selected or not selected bodies. Right now in the references tab, we can choose the bodies to remove. So for example, if I select this body, you can see the preview goes away. But let's change over to not selected. And when I choose not selected, well, now that is the only body that is visible. And I can hold down the control key and select the other bodies that I want to retain. So let's select this one over here, grab this one, and this one, and this one. And I'll just grab a couple more in here. So by selecting the bodies to keep, this is much easier than if I had to select, in this case, 29 other different bodies or 28 other different bodies to remove. So this is good. Let's hit the check mark. And there our remove body command just selects the individual bodies that we want to keep. Now be aware that this command was created as part of the full multi-body support for sheet metal modeling, because when you create a sheet metal body, you have the option of using an inheritance feature instead of an external copy geometry feature. And the inheritance feature is going to bring over all the bodies from the source model. So it also uses a remove body feature that removes all the bodies except the one that you are extracting. Let's take a look at another example where this workflow has been added to Creo Parametric 11. Here I have an imported part. I have an import feature in my model, and there is a single body. But if you take a look at this part, there are clearly separate parts in this universal joint. And let's say that I wanted to break them apart into separate bodies. You can do that with the split trim body command. I will click on that. And right now it is using a splitting object. This is pretty much the same as in the previous versions. But let's say I change the split by option to a volume, which splits a body by separating out disjoint volumes. I will click over there. And now we have the selected, not selected options underneath here. So for example, right now we are splitting out. And let's say I choose this particular surface. You can see the geometry that gets highlighted over here. If I choose not selected, you can see that it is highlighting the rest of the model. If we change here to trim, well, you can see that it is getting rid of the rest of the part. Let's change back over to selected, and it will just remove that initial volume that we had selected. But let's go back to the split option, and then I will hit the check mark. And now we have two different bodies in the part. Let me deselect. So here we have body one, here we have body two. And that way we can continue repeating this process for the other distinct volumes in this imported geometry. Let's go to split trim body, and we'll do it by volume. And this time I will select this surface and then hit the check mark. And so now I have three separate bodies in my part. And so this is great for imported geometry and dividing it up into multiple bodies.